Okay, I'm sure you have heard this too now. And this is my sign to say hello, everybody, and welcome to our Becoming Changemakers for Social Impact workshop within the Ulysses University. This is hopefully your journey or your path to meaningful change, and we are very excited that so many interested people are here today following us and making sure that we build the conversations around social impact and really kind of like diving into this topic of how we all can contribute to creating social impact ourselves. My name is Konstantina. I'm from the University of Münster, and I'm leading the work package on entrepreneurship and innovation within Ulysses. And I'm very excited that I'm able and also accompanied by my team here from the task group of social, women's, and intersectional entrepreneurship within our work package to facilitate this workshop today with all of you here. Just as a quick heads up, what is Ulysses? Because this is kind of like our network that we're working with. Ulysses is one of the 64 university alliances in Europe, and we are consisting of 8 Europe universities. You can see them already here on the map, and maybe some of you are joining us from one of these universities. So you're very welcome. And of course, everyone else who's not here linked on the map, please also feel very welcome to join our workshop today. Ulysses has a couple of targets and aims that it wants to introduce. It wants to build an innovative higher education institution, and it will absolutely support the European values in education. And what is really especially interesting to you, that we as Ulysses community want to support and produce highly qualified entrepreneurial and multilingual citizens of the future, which is you. So welcome here once again. Our workshop is part of our working group on social, women's, and intersectional entrepreneurship programs. And this is actually our very first workshop. So hopefully you are just as excited as we are. And looking at the map, and I was just, kind of like talking about it, let us know where you are from. Kindly use the chat if you want to, kind of like share your names, where you're from, and maybe also your social impact journey. So is there already someone here working on a social impact entrepreneurship program? Then please share these. You can share links, you can share more information, build the network, and kind of like use everyone here from the network to kind of like interact and engage with each other. Yes, in the aftermath, I will be also sharing this presentation, and you will have the link ready then to the website of Ulysses to look at more events that could be of interest to you. And then, of course, at also our Instagram channel, so to follow kind of like the most important news and updates on our activities. So what are we going to do today? This is the first welcome from my side, and hopefully we are going to build a door, as you see here on the right of my screen. If opportunity does not knock, build a door, and we're trying with our workshops to build a door for all of you to kind of like start your journey on social impact. Afterwards, we will have an introduction to social entrepreneurship by Desiree Wieser from MCI in Austria, and we're very excited about this. In the second part of our agenda, we will be looking at tools and networking skills for entrepreneurs by Lenka from Tuke in Slovakia. And I already see Lenka. Hi, welcome. And then, as we have promised, you will be able to meet 2 social entrepreneurs that will very briefly share their journey toward their social impact. So we are welcoming Manuela Raisova and Namrata Sethi. Thank you very much for joining us today. And then we will be concluding at around, 5:50 CEST, our workshop, and I will quickly announce what is next for you so you are updated on our Becoming Changemaker series. Right. What is your goal for today? Just to keep it short, learn with and from others is, I think, a key to every Ulysses activity. Make sure that you engage with the people that are online and present here. And also in the aftermath, please reach out to anyone where you'd say, hey, I'd really would like to open a conversation with you. Gain insights, of course, on social entrepreneurship, on social impact, and how different social impact journeys can look like. Be inspired. I think that is one of our key goals when we look at the team. We really want you to be inspired to look at social impact yourselves and see what could be your contribution when it comes to social impact. And then, of course, start your journey. Start your social impact journey with whatever you would like to start with. If it's another podcast you would like to listen to, another book you would like to read, or even someone to just, kind of like ask, hey, what's been your social impact journey? I would like to learn from you. So these are hopefully, 4 impulses for you for today's goal, and hopefully at around 6, 7 at some places, you will be inspired by this workshop. Okay, so I will hand over to Desiree, and I would like to introduce Desiree first. And Desiree, you are absolutely welcome to already share your screen. So let me introduce you to Desiree Wieser, a dedicated assistant professor at MCI, the Entrepreneurial School in Innsbruck, Austria. With nearly a decade of experience in teaching and research, Desiree is passionate about entrepreneurship education. Her work focuses on fostering entrepreneurial skills through innovative teaching tools, and her latest book explores how we can prepare tomorrow's change makers. Recently, she spent time in Japan studying sustainability in family businesses, which speaks to her deep commitment to responsible leadership and sustainability-driven education. And we are very excited to hear from Desiree today. Desiree, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Konstantina, for introducing me to everybody. And good evening to everybody. I'm really delighted to be here today and to talk about social entrepreneurship. So as Konstantina said, I'm from MCI, and I would like to start with talking about, let's see, social entrepreneurship. I'm just trying to change the slides. Now it works. So I would like to start with talking about social entrepreneurship and what it actually is. So, social entrepreneurship is a global movement that has been gaining significant drive since the beginning of the 21st century. And we can think of it as a type of entrepreneurship. And it's heavily influenced by practice, especially by Bill Drayton, for example, and the foundation of Ashoka, but also by Muhammad Yunus, the Nobel Prize winner, and his business, his idea of the social business, for example. And at its core, social entrepreneurship describes an entrepreneurial activity with a social purpose. Social purpose, an environmental purpose, a cultural purpose. And scholars describe it as a process of identifying and sizing social challenges in such fields as poverty, unemployment, inequalities, but also education, for example, healthcare or climate change. And they describe it as a process of searching and developing for innovative solutions for these challenges. And these solutions are based on ideas that are ideally self-sustaining and scalable, and traditionally, very often naturally transition into ventures. Ventures that are based on business models and a stable source of income. So this means they very often appear on the market, make use of market mechanisms, offering their products there, their services there, and asking for a price in return. But always with the aim of creating social value as opposed to shareholder value or personal value. So it's basically the juggling of a social purpose on one hand side and making profits on the other side. Now, as I said, social entrepreneurship is a process that very often naturally transitions into ventures. Those ventures can appear in very different sizes, in very different forms. They may be initiatives, they may be programs, they may be projects, they can also be startups. Social entrepreneurship can even emerge within established organizations. It may lean more towards the for-profit sector, it may lean more towards the non-profit sector, but very often it's a mixture of both. And it may be tied to a specific legal form in some countries, as for example in France, in Italy, or the UK. We have a dedicated legal form for the so-called social enterprises. And in other countries, we don't have such a specific legal form as, for example, Austria. But what we see and what we can observe is that they have very specific characteristics in common and characteristics that differentiate. And the first characteristic to name here is definitely that they are mission driven. So their primary focus is the creation of a social value. The whole reason why they exist is because they want to create a positive social impact, right? Which also means that traditionally financial profits are secondary, and profits are usually either fully reinvested or partly reinvested. Now, as I said, they like to make an impact. They cannot only or should not only claim that they make an impact, but even more so, they have to prove that they make an impact. And this is where impact management comes in. Impact management is very, very, very relevant for them. And this involves impact planning, so setting specific goals which they would like to reach. For example, they or many are relating to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, for example, because they are publicly accepted. The second step would be that the analysis of the impact. So do I reach the goals that I set for myself? And to measure how I can reach them, if I have reached them. And finally, of course, I have to report about the impact. I have to communicate what I did and why I did. Right? And there are different tools emerging right now, different approaches emerging that can help us doing so. Regulations are coming up, helping us with declarations and everything, but also for measuring, we have different approaches, social return on investment, for example, as opposed to return on investment approaches, and so on. What we also see is that those entrepreneurs or those ventures are driven by a sense of duty or ethical responsibility to help others. So altruism is definitely a character trait that differentiates social entrepreneurs from other types. Also, they want to disrupt the status quo. So with this creating of a social value, creating positive impact for society, they want to trigger social change. They want to trigger change on a broader societal level, which is why they try to innovate. They try to develop new technologies, for example. They try to experiment with new business models, try to come up with new or novel partnerships for it. Another characteristic to name here is sustainability. Such ventures, such entrepreneurs are definitely future-oriented, they are long-term oriented, and sustainability especially comes in terms of economic sustainability, so being economically sustainable, being financially independent, more independent from grants, donations, other types of third-party funding. But also in regards of the triple bottom line. So sustainability in regards of the triple bottom line, not only economic sustainability, but even more so social and environmental sustainability. So now on this slide, you can see two very famous examples of social entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurship ventures. On the left-hand side, we have Patagonia, and on the right-hand side, we have the Grameen Bank, founded by Muhammad Yunus, the Nobel Prize winner and the father of the social business idea. They are really, really interesting examples, and they are so interesting because they are so different, and it would really be interesting to go into more detail. But I thought, as they are that famous, let's have a look at another example. And I would like to introduce you to an example from Austria, from Vienna. This is the Vollpension, which translates to full pension. This is a startup that has been founded more than 10 years ago in Vienna, Austria, by two people with the vision in mind to create grandma's public living room that brings together young and old and creates jobs for young and old through or along baking and eating cake. So what they actually do is they offer a generational cafe where grandmas, grandpas are baking cake. You can have a cup of coffee. You can enjoy delicious cake. They offer, for example, also baking classes in the Bake Academy in person, so you can learn from the grandmas firsthand. And they also have an online shop, so you can even order grandma's cake home. Now, what they try to do is to create impact along three different lines. The first one is they try to fight old age poverty in Austria. The second one is they try to fight loneliness of senior citizens in Austria. And the third one is they try to outbalance the generation gap by bringing together young and old and creating jobs for both. I would really love to go in detail, but I think there are other very interesting speakers. But I put the link here for you. So if you're further interested to find out more about the startup, feel free to do so. Now let's also talk about why social entrepreneurship matters all. I think there are two major reasons that we should have a look at. The first one is social entrepreneurship might be one chance to tackle the ground challenges that we are facing as a society today, which means the challenges which are by now neglected or ignored by society, or challenges where we have a solution, but the current solution is weak or comes with significant societal costs, for example. Social entrepreneurship might also be a possibility when our sectors, let's say the public sector alone, or the private sector alone, or the third sector alone, are no longer able to sufficiently satisfy societal needs or are able to address social problems. And here, social entrepreneurship might come in by innovating, by providing sustainable solutions for society at large. Secondly, social entrepreneurship might be one means to rebuild trust into business and management in general on a broader scale, because unfortunately, what we have seen during the last 2 decades, especially, were many unprofessional business practices companies engaging in. So companies were engaging in fraudulent behavior, dishonest behavior, maltreatment of employees, exploitation of nature and natural resources, right? And this, of course, increased skepticism in businesses and led to the question, so why are businesses, why is management relevant at all for us? And I think social entrepreneurship has the possibility to integrate ethics, responsibility, and sustainability into management conduct. And this is not only relevant from a practical point of view, but even more so from a theoretical point of view, because it might also be the chance to further develop management and business as a discipline. Now, talking about the chances and the potential of social entrepreneurship, I would also like to mention some of the challenges that we are facing here. The first one is the balancing of the social impact on one side and the profits on the other side. This might be a pretty straightforward idea and thought in theory, right? But managing a hybrid organization in practice is really, really challenging because you have to align diverse stakeholder interests, not only diverse, but totally different stakeholders. Because you have the investors that look for profits and those investors that are interested in making a great social impact, right? And this may lead, in the worst case, also to a mission drift, which means that social entrepreneurs do only invest in those solutions where they also expect profits. A second challenge I would like to mention is the measuring of impact. So, as I mentioned before, social enterprise ventures, they do not only have to claim that they make an impact, but they have even more to show that they make, right? But there is a kind of tension between claiming to make an impact and the lack of accountability or a clear public mandate, public assignment to do so, as they have no assignment to do so. And this, of course, renders impact management even more relevant, right? So make it transparent, really show what kind of impact. But the thing is that measuring impact in reality is a very complex issue. First of all, there are no common frameworks existing yet. There are no universal metrics to refer to. Also, quantifying impact is really, really difficult, which is why measuring impact is also often accused to be very subjective. And this, of course, adds to the overall, or leads to a question of the validity of the results, right? Leads to a question of effectiveness. So, what is more important? How can we compare the indeed, there is a lack of comparability also because we have very diverse impacts. Different impacts, they vary across populations, across time frames, across sectors. They are not so easy to compare, right? And this may also lead towards more skepticism of social entrepreneurship in general, and may also result in the fact that support goes away from certain programs in the ambit of social entrepreneurship that might be really, really relevant in their own right, but do not necessarily fit into a comparative framework, right? And one challenge linked to that directly is finding the right investors. Investors, of course, they want to make sure that you make an impact. You have to show that you make an impact. You have to give them numbers. You have to provide evidence how effective the impact is. And this, of course, is also then linked to a lack of funding. Which of course is difficult to build up a social enterprise. And here the scalability comes in. So what we often see is that many social enterprises, they simply grow too big too fast. This means they try to scale up before they have a proven business model in place. Which is why they are accused also often to be very sporadic and immature. And this, of course, does also increase the failure rate of such type of businesses. Finally, such businesses, such ventures are more sensitive also to changes in the political, economic, and social context. So as they are striving for social mission while striving for profits, they are not only influenced by market mechanisms and by economic shift, let's say, but even more so by communities, by social dynamics, and also by regulations. And this does impact the business operation on one hand side, but even more so the social mission of this business. So, in conclusion, I think we can say that social entrepreneurship has a great potential, is a strong force for positive change, but we also have to acknowledge its limitations. We have to assess its limitations, and we also need to recognize the importance of addressing societal and systemic challenges in order to fully harness the potential of social entrepreneurship. And to render the impact we have more equitable, more sustainable, our future more sustainable and equitable for both people and the planet. Good. So this was small introduction from my side. Please let me know if you have questions, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Desiree, for this wonderful input and insightful input on social entrepreneurship. We have already a few first question, that I would like to start with, and then maybe others can join. Please then use the chat or raise your virtual hand if you have any more questions for Desiree or any comments, actually. So
Yeah.
Katharina is asking how to actually motivate social entrepreneurs to choose impact over profits.
So this is a good question. I think motivation starts already during education. So this is why we should first of all integrate social entrepreneurship as a topic in our curricula. Even more so maybe during high school, not only at university level, to make people aware, to make young people aware of that this is also a possibility for you, right? So this might also be a way. So making profits, of course, traditional businesses, you can always be an entrepreneur, but social entrepreneurship is indeed another option. And I think that is the most important thing, first of all, to raise awareness.
Yes, thank you, Desiree. That's great. And I mean, that is also part of what we're doing here today, if you would like to say so. Are there any more questions from you, from everyone here? You can use the chat or just unmute yourself if you have any questions or comments that you would like to share with everyone. Otherwise, I will just give one question. Oh, there is Stephanie, please. Yes, go ahead. You were raising your hand.
Yes, hi, Desiree. Thank you for your presentation. I wanted to ask, how do you recommend getting people to question the status quo? I loved what you said about that. I've been teaching social entrepreneurship for 13 years, and I feel like one of the things that a lot of people miss is getting students to question the status quo and getting those that want to be a part of this. How do you recommend that you've done this in a way that students have been successful or others have been successful?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Stephanie, for bringing up this question. So I think one major thing here is that we also have to think about entrepreneurship in a broader way, let's say. I think thinking about entrepreneurship as a competence is way more useful here. And entrepreneurship as competence also, for example, includes critical thinking. And I think that's, for example, a precondition to be able to um, to challenge the status quo, right? So we should be aware that entrepreneurship is a multifaceted competence, actually, and that there are many abilities, many things we can teach students, which, for example, is thinking critically, and also that's the first thing, and also secondly, I think um, we should let them explore the status quo, and then let them reflect on it. This is also ties also to or is connected with this practice-based learning, maybe doing projects together with economy, but also, for example, management history. They should look at management history, they should reflect on it, and they probably should try to identify, okay, what was good for society as a whole and what probably went wrong and why did it went wrong. So analytical skills are also helpful here. I hope this answers your question, at least partly.
Super. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for the question. And there are a few more in the chat. So Christina is asking, are there any large-scale social enterprise examples that you can share with us? And I know a couple of great ones, but they are rather small in size.
Yeah. So the larger ones are, for example, the ones I presented, Patagonia, for example, or the Grameen Bank. So if you like, try to look further into those two businesses because they are completely different. But I think both can be classified as social enterprise. Especially Patagonia is interesting because there has been a shift. I think it was last or 2 years before, and Grameen Bank, especially because they do not only they started with Grameen Bank, but they have now cooperations with many other organizations and many more initiatives on that scale. So explore that one.
Super, thank you. I also pasted two links from Patagonia to the chat. If anyone is interested, please feel free to look into their history. And then Katharina is asking, how do you see the future of social entrepreneurship? For example, are there any trends that you could already foresee? And if so, can you share these? Can you share us some more insights on this?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good question. And I think it's good to think about the future and to build up scenarios for the future. That's also what we should do in entrepreneurship. Um, I think um, so. I think social entrepreneurship is a good chance to make us aware. Okay, we can probably further develop our types of businesses or the types of businesses we were thinking in, right? Um, I think it evolves. Maybe it also disappears because, the new normal is then social entrepreneurship, and we don't need the social anymore because entrepreneurship is always social. That would be wonderful. But yeah, we will see. I think it definitely triggers change, and that's for good for the present day.
Thank you. Hopefully Katharina's question is answered. There is one more by Mark. In a world dominated by individualism and competition, how do you inspire collective action for social good?
A really good question. So I think what we have seen is that competition might be one way, but it is not always the best way, right? Um, we are selfish as humans, yes, we are, but we are also empathetic. We are also we want also to help. We want also to collaborate, right? And that's also part of nature of humans. And I think we have to trigger that more. And I think we also have to understand that sometimes cooperating might be worth more than competing. And I think bringing in good examples where businesses collaborated with different initiatives, with nonprofit organizations, with the public sector, with policy, are good examples to provide some concrete or to give some concrete examples.
Super, thank you very much. If that's for the moment, Desiree, I have one more question for you.
Let me know.
We we have so many students here now present, interested in creating social impact and learning about social entrepreneurship. What would you say? Where should they start their journey? What's like the thing to do if you want to start your social entrepreneurship or your social impact journey?
So I think the most important thing is believe in you. Don't stop dreaming. Talk to others and exchange a lot. Communicate your dreams.
Well, thank you very much for this very precise answer, and hopefully this is, an inspiration for all of us. Yes, there is one more question that, because of the time, I would like to, ask this one question. So when tackling deeply ingrained societal issues, what strategies help maintain momentum and avoid burnout?
Oh, that's a really good question. Maybe I don't know if I am the best person to answer that one, but I thank you for bringing in that issue. So psychological problems are we have to keep in mind that entrepreneurship it's a creative journey, it's a cool journey, it's an interesting journey, but also an exhausting journey. And that's the same with social entrepreneurship, right? And it because you have to struggle with, especially with in the ambit of social entrepreneurship, with this dual mission with hybrid organization, you are even more exposed to mental disease or burnout, for example. I think you should not forget yourself. You should think about your needs, your health also, and you should not compromise your health for anything. I think the best, uh, I don't know if you can really avoid it, but I think a good team helps, right? A good team, a trustful team, and yeah, other people that are on your side that will support you, that can also support you when you are struggling personally or mentally. Mm-hmm.
Super. Thank you, Desiree. And I think this really well connects also with the idea that you just, kind of like put in as in exchange. Go and leave your box and exchange with people that have the experience that might help you to be a resource,
Definitely.
to kind of like also, maintain your mental health when tackling such big issues. And especially when it comes to social impact, making sure that, all of us have to be healthy on that journey. Yeah, I think that's
And
a
don't
very nice
hesitate to
connection.
ask for help. Ask
Yeah.
for help, really get the support that you
Great.
need.
Super. Thank you. Now, the chat is warming up here. There are a few more questions coming in. Let's go with the next one. Where's the advantage in social businesses versus NGOs, for example, especially for young people to be involved in?
The original thought of social business is that they are, compared to NGOs or nonprofit organizations, that they are based on a business model, on a stable source of income. So they want to be financially more independent from donations, from third-party funding or grants, which means they try to find a creative way to appear on the market, to offer products there or services or a bundle of products and services, and to gain and collect market income, right? And this is an advantage because very often NGOs, nonprofit organizations, are tied towards funding that is tied to a 30-year period, let's say, and afterwards you don't know if you can continue with your activities. So that's a little bit the challenge here.
Yeah, thanks for highlighting those advantages and challenges when it comes to those two different entities. Then we have another question, coming from the university sector, how can we nurture our role in this area? We as educators, we as administrative people, supporting the systems of universities. What can we do to nurture our roles as a university?
So definitely collaborating. So opening up our doors as universities, seeking to exchange with policy, seeking to exchange with NGOs, nonprofit organizations, and other businesses, right? Seeking dialogue, bringing in practice examples, and collaborating, working together on finding solutions. Because we all have very diverse competences, and I think if we can complement those competences, the final outcome will be even better.
Thank you. All right, and then I'd say the last question for Desiree today, because Desiree is actually super busy. She has to go and teach in a few minutes. So we are enjoying, having you here so much, but, we will make sure that you also are able to go and teach your seminar to your students. So the last question is, how do you ensure that your work doesn't unintentionally perpetuate inequalities through creating dependency within the communities you serve?
Yeah, that's a good question. That is also one of the challenges and the risks we face with social entrepreneurship. I think there is also no clear answer to that. Maybe I'm also not able to answer that now. But I think we have to really we have to make experiences. It's also about failing, right? We don't have like the recipe here with social entrepreneurship, and then it will be, you know, the super outcome and super social value that we create, but we have to experiment also in a certain way. Of course, there may be regulations helping to counterbalance such kind of risks, which is also good. But in the end, there will be failure, and we should reflect on those failures, think what we can make better.
Okay. Desiree, first of all, thank you so much for, you know, coming early and making sure that we are kind of like also gaining from your experience on social entrepreneurship education. We really appreciate that so much. Have a really good session with your students in a couple of minutes. And other than that, please stay in touch, and thank you very much for all of your efforts.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. It was really a pleasure. I just read also in the chat how you can how we can keep in touch. Please, Konstantina, feel free to forward my email address. So if you have further questions, let me know. If you would get in touch with me, exchange, I would love to do that. And yeah, I'm really sorry that I have to go now. As Konstantina said, I have to teach. But yeah, I wish you a really, really nice evening. Please exchange, please learn from each other. And yeah, hopefully we see each other soon. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you
Bye
so much,
bye.
Desiree. Bye-bye. Have a good
Thank
afternoon.
you. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so that was, you know, our first part on social entrepreneurship by Desiree Visa. And just to loosen up a bit, I have a couple of questions for you. So there should be a quiz popping on your screen right now. You know, a few questions to kind of like get to know you more. So if you would like to answer some of these questions, we'd be happy to hear, you know, about your motivation, about your current situation when it comes to social entrepreneurship. And then, of course, what would be your superpower if you want to make the world a better place? What would you be? So you can absolutely just start kind of like answering those questions. Oh, yeah. I'm just giving this a second to gain, you know, a few background information, a few information about your motivation, which is so important when it comes to creating social impact. Thank you also to this one person who said, I was just looking for something interesting to do this afternoon. So if this is interesting to you, you're absolutely welcome to be here. Thank you. Oh, it looks really good. Nice. So yeah, there are quite a few people that are super passionate about creating positive change, that are curious just about the topic. You know, it's so wonderful that you've all heard about social entrepreneurship, which is gaining more momentum in all of our higher education institutions, which is great, as we just heard from Desiree. Then we have, yeah, people are looking for different ways to make a difference, and looking to kind of like looking into real world problems and seeing how our competencies that we have collected in higher education could be actually applied to those real world problems. So that's amazing to see. What else do we have? Your superpower, right? Oh, beautiful. The power to bring people together, inspire collaboration. This is first ranked here. So that looks really good. Thank you all. I will just, you know, leave it open for another 2 minutes. But for now, I would like to, you know, slightly kind of like take the bridge over to Lenka and introduce Lenka. And it is really my pleasure to introduce Lenka Linkova, a co-founder of the Inspiring Social Enterprise Female Algorithm. Lenka has led her 30-member team to create impactful projects that promote diversity, technology education, and women's empowerment in Slovakia. And over the last 4 years, she has made remarkable strides in social entrepreneurship, earning national recognition for her work, which is absolutely amazing. We are so thrilled to have you here. And thank you for sharing your journeys and your insights today with us. You're absolutely invited to share your screen if you want to. And other than that, the floor is yours. Thank you, Lenka.
Thank you, Konstantina. I just want to make sure that you can see my screen. Can you? Great. And thank you for inviting me. I'm really, really excited to be here. And I think you've heard already enough about me. So today I really want to focus my time to tools and networking. So bring you some practical tips. Take it as a box of chocolate. It's going to be a lot of information. I have quite fast pace of speaking. Danka already knows me. So get prepared, buckle up, and really pick whatever works for you. I will try to finish within 20-25 minutes. I really strongly encourage you to share what works for you in terms of tools or networking in a chat, because your knowledge exchange is really valuable as well. And then at the end, we can discuss wherever you have questions. So let's dive into the tools to scale your impact. Have you known that, or do you know that 60% of small business owners claim that automating tasks saves them more than 6 hours a week, and 88% of high growth companies use automation tools in their daily operations. And this is really important thing to say, especially when it comes to social entrepreneurship, because we have limited resources, not a lot of money at the beginning, usually not a lot of people, and what we need to automate. So let's look at smart tools for tech-savvy entrepreneurs, which I hope you are. And if you don't, hopefully you will begin after this presentation. So let's look at some business processes we can automate. And I really picked just a couple of tools for each process. When it comes to communication, obviously you already know, and I'm sure that your generation already uses any instant messaging or other applications to get the real-time communication that overcomes time zones, distance, and it really gives you the flexibility. But in your business, it gives you also centralization of documentation, information, documents, processes, etc. And you can also use it for task automation. For emails, I'm sure you already use Gmail, but I don't know if you know that the whole package of Google Workspace is available for free for any NGO. So you have to just ask for it. I will show you how, and you can get the whole package of Google Workspace with Google Calendar, Drive, Meet, and all the apps as a package, which is pretty much unlimited when it comes to the storage. So please feel free to use it, and if you don't know, we will look at it, the process how to request such an access. Then I picked one for instant messaging that is really trendy in the world now. I don't know if you are familiar with Slack. If you are, please give me a sign with your reaction thumb up. It's a great tool for instant communication and really, really well adopted among big companies as well. And as we are friends of Zoom, even here, I really recommend this tool. It also provides a discount for social entrepreneurs and NGOs. So please check the conditions and you can request one. But it is pretty much free to some extent, I think up to 100 participants, and it really helps to overcome the distances, especially when you are working remotely with your team. Did you know that Google Calendar offers also Calendly style appointment scheduling, which you can use either within your team internally or with your future clients, partners? So please check it up. I will paste you the link to this presentation, which is animated after my slot here. So no need to take screenshots or notes. You will get everything. Regarding Slack, fun facts or interesting facts, 75,000 organizations all around the world use it. So it has a reason. 80% of Fortune 100 companies and more than 33 million of active daily users. That's tremendous number. It gives you an ability to channel your discussions according to topics. So I'm sure you are familiar with that. If not, give me an opportunity to give you some tips when it comes to communication tools. Please distinguish between synchronous and asynchronous communication. Synchronous requires an instant reply. Now, in a time where nobody has time, it's really recommended to use the right tool for the right type of information. So use instant messaging or phone only for those type of communications that require instant answer. For the other ones where you can wait and gives the flexibility to the other side to answer when they can, use email or any project management tool where people can accommodate their response. Information overload is a phenomenon I've read in a Harvard Business Review probably 5 years ago. Just realize how many channels are around you or through which you receive information, whether it's a personal touch or personal connection with your colleagues, or email or phone or instant messaging. I bet you have at least 3 instant messaging apps using right now in your phone. So count those channels, and if we don't put in place rules or priorities within your future organization or current organization, which tool is for which type of information, or which has a bigger priority, or maybe an internal rule, let's agree on replying to emails within 2 days, or let me know that you can't, that really accelerates the communication. And I recommend, after a couple of years of running a social enterprise, to separate privacy channels or private channels from work. So we used to use Facebook Messenger for communication. But most of the team members use it for their families and friends, and we were just available all the time. So that's why we chose to use Slack for work, Messenger and WhatsApp and Viber and other channels for private reasons. So that's just what worked for me. When it comes to task management, I'm not sure, have you ever heard about Trello? If you have, please, I see you shaking your heads. That's my favorite tool. Obviously, there are other alternatives. I will mention them later, but it really gives you the accessibility, and you can't compare email to project management tool, because you have the threads of communication related to a specific topic. You can archive it, you can do many things, and you can really scale your work. I've seen many startups, also the $1 million startups, using Trello. It's an amazing tool, which is also available for free to a certain extent, and there is also a discount for NGOs. So what is Trello or any other tool like Monday? We have Asana, we have Jira. If you do software development, it usually uses this method of Kanban, which is categorizing tasks based on their status, whether they are to be done, being worked on, or finished, or you can add statuses as you need. And it is really transparent and collaborative, because you can invite whoever you want. It is pretty intuitive, and I think you are a very smart group of people. I don't need to go into deeper details. Just one more tip. Any project management tool won't get filled in automatically. It needs your input, and it also needs a drive. So someone has a task to do, but who will check that? Who will drive that work? And I strongly recommend, whether you work on software development or not, to check Scrum methodology of running the projects. It works in sprints, so it uses like time boxes from 2 to 4 weeks. And it has regular reviews, what has been done, and then a planning what needs to be done. And it is also common practice to have daily stand-ups. So this is the fuel, this is the driver, so that your task management tool won't get stuck, but the things move forward. And it is really good to establish habits or rules for using Trello, Jira. Again, similar like with emails, that you require people to answer to your questions, because you can have a chat there. And once this is in place, you get really productive. And one more tip here, I also am certified Scrum Master and paid maybe £1,000 a couple of years ago for that certification. I do not recommend it. Don't tell anyone. You can get really like a £14 Coursera online course, or just check on YouTube free videos. You just have to grab the principle. Anyway, if you don't work in project management or software development, all the facts will be very abstract. So I recommend to start using it first, and then you will be able to adopt the principles, because it's not a rocket science, it's just a great business. When it comes to sales, you need a good CRM. So you don't need just a database of contacts, your partners. Even if you are a social entrepreneurship, you will have donors, beneficiaries, so the people you serve. Then you will have partners or competitors, many contacts. You need to distinguish with them between them somehow. And here is another tip for a great tool, which can help you: lead tracking, email marketing, sales automation, so you can see the pipeline management, you can segment your contacts, you can even social media, scheduled social media posts, you can see analytics. And the most important is that we use many tools, and it's always a great benefit if we can combine them, so the integration is also possible. And my favorite, and again, heard from many sides, from startups or well-established businesses, HubSpot is a great choice, because it also allows you to start for free and actually continue for free until you really need some specific features and build your database there. You can integrate it with your email, so all your messages or messages from all your team can get into the database, connected with the contact. And it has so many features that I'm not even starting here. Just to maybe have a quick view and decide whether it suits you or not. Then you need to track finance. So hopefully you will need to track finance from the beginning, and you will not start with a zero as we did. But still, you need something. And obviously you need a accounting tool, which we have outsourced, and our accountant has a accounting tool we don't use, but we need to plan financial stuff and also see the current status. And as I speak to other CEOs, you wouldn't believe, but also CEOs of bigger companies still use Excel. And I prefer Google Sheets, which is collaborative, and I see Mark is smiling. But it's true. And there are things like formulas you will not beat by really expensive tools. And I strongly encourage you to build your own, for example, cash flow template, because every company has, or every social entrepreneurship or NGO has different parameters that wants to focus on. And all the formulas you can Google. I did that as well. Link the spreadsheet, and you can build your own system pretty much for free. For the beginning, definitely the best. Design. Oh my gosh, that's my favorite. But everyone needs design, even if you need to post your social media posts, you need to create your website, you need to create maybe some one-pagers for your future partners, future clients. What else? You need your design. I mean, you need it for everything pretty much. And let me introduce you. No, I will let you guess. What do you think is the most efficient tool now in the market for design that really covers all those benefits I listed here? Canva, yes. So no need to introduce it. I'm already addicted, and as you can see, also these slides are created in Canva. Great startup as well. So maybe check the story. A female founder behind that. 100 pitches until she got successful because she presented the solution, and after 99 presentations, she realized, let's start with a problem. So she started presenting her startup with a problem first, and then she got the investment. So it allows you to create all these things, but I see you are familiar. Let's just really run through what you can create there. And I strongly recommend, because we are not all of us design experts. So let's leave the expertise to those who understand it. And the templates there are really professional. You can use them either for your logo, website, or whiteboard, even within your team. Infographics, if you want to communicate something sharp quickly with numbers. Merge, you can design there. We use it also as a recording studio, as we provide educational services. So you can combine video and a screen and record it, and then edit it. If you use storytelling, maybe for selling your services or selling your positive social change, maybe comics is a way, so you can design there as well. Feel free to use AI tools integrated within Canva, where you can create images or edit images using AI. I personally also love the feature to translate your whole presentation to a different language by one click, and that wasn't possible a couple of years ago. And slide decks, obviously, as I have it today. Find out what you need. Maybe you were not aware what everything is there, but please take a look. And you know what? It's also free for NGOs. Up to 50 persons or people teams. Canva Pro is free, so you just have to request for it, and that's amazing saving. Web development. So with your social startup, entrepreneurship, or NGO, you will need your website. And obviously, I'm sure you know that you don't need to know how to code to create your own website. So do you know which tool I'm going to talk about? I'm trying. Whether you are familiar with some kind of WordPress, not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of WordPress, but obviously some people are. I prefer Wix. So if you haven't checked Wix, it's a great drag and drop tool for creating a website. I wouldn't say with basic, but with standard features. So unless you have a very specific idea of what your website should do, Wix is the best tool to create a website. And strategy, the last process I'm going to talk about, and then just a quick run through networking. So obviously, I think it's something I was supposed to mention at the beginning, but I left it to the end. Strategy is something that will require your full attention, because you as a founder or co-founder will be responsible for goal setting and prioritization, business model, market analysis, SWOT analysis, brainstorming. You will make decisions. You need to forecast. Maybe you need a content creation. So who would you ask for help when it comes to online tools? Nobody? I hope that I didn't lose you. But let me confess that my best brainstorming buddy, not BFF, is ChatGPT. And I have I have the paid version. It's 20 euros per month. Even the free version is fine. But I use it on daily basis. I have to say it saves at least 25% of my weekly time and accelerated my work maybe 10 times. It's hard to measure, but it is really a future of working. So couple of tips for prompts for you as maybe future social entrepreneurs. First, general one, be specific, really provide context. Then you will get a very specific answer as well. And what can make it even better if you ask for examples, not just an abstract answer. You can ask ChatGPT to validate your business model. We are an NGO, but we also have a business model because our legislation allows us to combine NGO and social entrepreneurship. Optimize your resources. You can explain to GPT what resources you have, what processes you have in place, what's your goals, and how you can optimize it. It can give you ideas. It won't make a decision for you, but it can give you ideas how to scale your business, how to expand your business, how to define maybe processes. It can also actually help you with the content of your policies layer, and also how to automate. So I use ChatGPT also when learning using new tools. Like I started producing videos. I used it step by step. How should I cut the video? Where should I put animation? And it is really, really user-friendly. And don't forget to verify, because not all the outputs are true or correct. So we still have to have our brains to verify the accuracy of the information. If you are interested in how AI is working, our organization has licenses free from Google. So I put the any website where you can request for Coursera access to a license to this course, and have another certificate on your CV and a new knowledge in your portfolio. I mentioned at the beginning that there is a tool where, I apologize, I have a playing above, so you might hear it. But there is a tool or an organization that provides all these discounts and free software to NGOs or social entrepreneurs enterprises, and it's called TechSoup. It operates on an international level, but also on national levels. So check on Google. It is really the logic there is that they will verify your status as non-profit, and then you will given access to all the discounts or free tools. Canva is not there. Canva you can ask directly. And that was about tools. And let's kickstart your social impact. Just 2-3 topics there. First, I'm not sure if you are aware of Sustainable Development Goals, so-called SDGs. You shake your head, so I see that you are familiar, but it's really good to put it on your website, for example. You pick 1, 2, 3, where your social enterprise is focused on, and if you put it on your website, it's really easy to understand for any future potential donor or partner where your focus is. Have you heard about theory of change? If not, it is also a great method to sell your positive change, because if you have a social enterprise, you are actually selling a positive change, social change. And the specific there is maybe your beneficiary, your target user won't pay for your services, but there is a chance that there will be someone else paying for your services for whom your work is a priority. So it could be a state, it could be a municipality, it could be a foundation and other donors. So that's for me pretty much the difference between a business and a NGO or social enterprise. Here is an example. You can Google many examples or check this presentation after I finish. So it's pretty much a one-pager. You're selling one-pager of what you do. And once you put this together, you also understand what is the problem, what are the activities, what is the outcome which you can influence, and what is the impact which you can't influence. And you can't really measure how much of your outcome influenced the impact. So that was what Desiree was talking about. And the last bit, a really short one about the power of networking for social good. Obviously, very, very important bit. To be honest, when I should share how did we get so many grants and support, the most of the organizations that supported us have known us already. So it's really, really important to seek chances and opportunities where you can get people to know you and your work. And that's why it is a little bit different than in business. Here, people are usually purpose-driven, and you don't always exchange things that are related to profit, but it's also about value exchange. It's really important to be consistent with your communication, and follow up on the meeting or when you build a contact. And please have in mind also that you should have a diversity of network. Obviously, we are naturally gravitated to people similar to our bubble and us, but it's great to have various people and organizations in your list of contacts, because you need to work cross-sectoral. If you are a social enterprise. Networking can actually help you with fundraising, as I said, because it gives you an access to potential donors and investors. It also builds trust and credibility. It also gives you referrals and introductions. Obviously, within those contacts, you can find your future collaborators and partners, but also you will get an access to information which would be normally hidden from you. So learning about opportunities and opportunities to network, like today, for example. A couple of specific tips when it comes to social impact and entrepreneurship events. I don't know how it is in your countries. You can share within chat, but I know that in Slovakia we have social impact event every year. There is a Ashoka Changemaker events, if you heard about it. If not, Google it. They also operate online. Please join incubators and accelerators like maybe this one, but there is also a program under the roof of United Nations Development Program called Boost Impact, which we have joined and actually won as financial support as well 2 years ago. But we won also many, many great contacts and great information. And please join any online communities and networks. And I would emphasize LinkedIn, but that's the next slide. But before that, I would like to also emphasize one thing, because we are, most of us are women, and this program is dedicated to maybe female entrepreneurs. There are some barriers, but I usually don't focus on barriers because I love to see the opportunities. So please, I know that we all know that as women, we often have maybe lower access to maybe some opportunities, or there are some cultural or social expectations on us, or sometimes we lack confidence and support. But please don't confuse on these barriers. Focus on the opportunities and bridge to LinkedIn. And if you don't have an account on LinkedIn, please do so and let the world know what your aspiration is, or what you are seeking. And it's a really powerful tool, and many opportunities that come to us as an organization come through LinkedIn. So let me finish with a motivational quote from Simon Sinek, my favorite author: dream big, start small, but most of all, start. And I hope that we stay in touch. I didn't share my LinkedIn link there, but it's here. I will share with you the link to the presentation in a minute. But if you have any questions, and hopefully I didn't exceed the time.
Thank
I'm
you,
here.
Lenka. Thank you so much for your input and, for really bringing us kind of like this whole package of tools that are already there that we probably all use and have on our phones, or, write emails from, whatever that is. And how they can be so easy to facilitate, kind of like the next step of building such an adventure or whatever there is that we want to build. So thank you so much for, reminding that of us that there is already so much that we know about. We just have to kind of like make sure that we know, the last 10% of it. So thank you so much. There are a few questions in the chat, and I would like to start with the first one by, I think it is Jonathan, saying, you were referring to, kind of like your ChatGPT buddy and kind of like, having a sparring partner there. Jonathan would like to know what you mean by validating the business model with artificial intelligence. Could you give us an example so we can better understand what you mean by that?
Yeah, so I know from the incubator in Technical University, where I also help, that startup founders and the newbies use it, because at the beginning you don't know which business models are already there. So you might maybe enter your idea, how you can sell, where can be your streams of income, what can be your business model built on, to ChatGPT, and validate in terms of the ChatGPT can give you not an advice, but maybe expand your knowledge with some other tips you can consider as, okay, I didn't think about that, or okay, I didn't know about this model that exists. And sometimes gives you also some examples. Obviously, it is just meant to be as a brainstorming partner rather than proper verification. But yes, hopefully this helps.
Super, thank you so much. Another question that was asked was, how have you actually started your way of becoming an entrepreneur? As you mentioned, you need to be known. What can students do to build kind of like this knowledge around them and making sure that they gain the momentum of the network?
Okay, I will split this to two questions. So,
Yes,
so the
please.
first, how I started, I worked in tech for 12 years, and I very often was, as I was being promoted higher and higher, I was more lonelier and lonelier as a woman within technology sector, not even in Slovakia, but also in the UK where I worked. And I think that this is where I reached my bottom sometimes. And there is a saying that once you reach your bottom, maybe this is where you find your life purpose. So I'm not saying that this is my whole life purpose, but for now, I decided to help other women not to go through the same and to use the opportunities they have in technology and management. So this is how I started. And also it's important to mention that I started the business while I was on my first maternity leave. So I used this career crossroad for a little switch, but I still keep my legs intact. And when it comes to networking, I think it really helped me. And yeah, it helped me that I worked in several corporates and smaller businesses, because all the knowledge I gained there, I could really quickly apply to an NGO. Also, when it comes to tools, processes, how we worked, the pace and everything. So I see it as a positive that I could have also a working experience before starting my own business, because I meet people who start their businesses during their studies, like many people like Steve Jobs and others maybe did as well. But then you have to learn some of the things yourself. So having an experience from other businesses, you can skip that phase and let someone else to make all the mistakes, and you can just learn from that.
Thank you. Super. Thank you so much. So I'd say, as a personal conclusion, also from your input, we can all learn those things. It is not impossible. The tools are there, the networking is there. You just have to take a next step and choose that next step wisely, and make sure that you reach out to the people that can support you, to learn, from each other and with each other. That is certainly super important. Lenka, thank you so
Yes,
much.
maybe Konstantina,
Go
one
ahead.
last bit, because
Yeah.
I mentioned just a couple of tools, and you said that you might have already known all of them. I always, when we implement a tool within the organization, we obviously make a research and create a spreadsheet and compare pros and cons. Please take it only as an inspiration, but I recommend everyone to make their own research, what works for you. But it's also a good practice, and I took those tips also from the bigger company. So maybe we can here skip the phase and make that decision faster. So good luck to everyone, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. Thank you very much. All right. So we are, kind of like moving forward. And now I would actually give the floor to Namrata, if Namrata is already here. Yes. Hi.
Hello.
I'd like to start with a short introduction before I give the floor over, Namrata. So we have next Namrata Sethi, an entrepreneur and project manager with a passion for supporting local artisans through her work in furniture design. And with her background in interior design, Namrata has worked on numerous hotel and residential projects in India. And now at Haga Helia University of Applied Sciences, she manages EU projects that focus on empowering communities through social entrepreneurship. And we are very eager to hear about Namrata's incredible work and experiences today. So Namrata, the floor is absolutely yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't have slides, but I will talk about my story. And I know Lenka. So, hi, Lenka. We were collaborating for one of our projects where I was writing a project with India, and it was about social entrepreneurship. So, hi, my name is Namrata Sethi. I am currently working at Haga Helia University of Applied Sciences in Finland as a project manager. And I'm originally from Mumbai, India, and I moved to Finland 7 years ago. And today I want to share about my entrepreneurial journey with the focus of social entrepreneurship, something that I discovered unexpectedly. I began my career as an interior designer in India, and I was fortunate enough to work on several projects, mainly hotels, and between juggling various projects. And at one point, I was involved in designing 3 to 4 hotels simultaneously. It was an exciting experience, but like any project, we face many challenges. And at one point, we decided to import furniture and light fixtures from abroad to fit the budget. But when the products arrived, many of them didn't meet the standards, which led us to work with local artisans to fix the issue. What initially seemed like a setback turned into an opportunity. Working closely with local artisans, I realized that craftsmanship and skills are available in India were just extraordinary, and the issue wasn't lack of availability, it was access. That's when the idea started forming in my mind that why not collaborate with local artisans from the start, and why not source locally instead of importing products. This realization was the seed that led me to start my own entrepreneurial journey in India. I saw a gap in the market and a way to not only create a business, but also support local industries and artisans. This was the start of my path in social entrepreneurship, although I did not know it at the same time. When I first ventured into entrepreneurship, market research was essential. Lenka also spoke about it when I was listening. I reached out to my network to understand the landscape, the customer base, and potential collaborators. And during this time, I connected with a company in my network who had a huge showroom that specialized in interior products. This connection was key as they offered to fund and display my furniture in this space. It was a huge win for my business. But beyond just securing funding, this collaboration opened a whole new world for me. The world of like connecting with the local craftsmen, many of whom were working out of small workshops and some of them even from their homes. As I expanded my network, I was introduced to several artisan groups, many of them mostly women who were supporting their families with their craft. They weren't just producing products, they were creating opportunities for themselves and their communities. And this made me realize that this business could support communities and particularly women and offer them a steady income and stability in their work. One of my most memorable experiences of this journey has been which happened in Dharavi, Mumbai. Dharavi is one of the biggest, largest slums in Asia. And it is known for its various small scale industries from leather, textiles, pottery. So one of my contractors invited me to visit Dharavi when I was looking to create textile-based products like cushion covers and bed linens. What I found there was really astonishing. Groups of highly talented women creating beautiful, high-quality items that were already being supplied to one of the biggest brands in India and abroad. And what struck me was that most of these women were just not working for a paycheck. They were part of this initiative to empower women in their communities. They were uplifting each other and learning new skills and also supporting their families. And this became a turning point for me. I realized that these women and others like them across India, they became like an essential part of my business. They didn't just produce products for me, they became partners in creating something more meaningful. And through this business, I wanted to provide a sustainable livelihood for those to support these communities and also ensuring that we offer high quality products and services. And as my business grew, um, I expanded these collaborations with the artisans across India, creating a unique product line and also being socially responsible. And it was not just about aesthetics and design. And that's how I kind of deeply got involved more into social entrepreneurship. And now, one of these misconceptions about social entrepreneurship is that it's non-profit, but that's not the case. It should be also profitable. And because fast forward to today, you're in Finland, I'm trying to continue on this path. My current role involves working on entrepreneurial projects, many of which focuses on sustainability, and of course, I try to focus on social entrepreneurship as well. And recently, while doing research for one of my projects, I stumbled upon this concept of zebra startup, which is unlike the much talk like unicorns, where unicorns are in the business world, where you need to grow rapidly and have a $1 billion evaluation. Zebra startups or companies, they focus on creating sustainable businesses that balance profit and a positive social impact. They seek to solve real world problems while ensuring that they remain financially viable. So in this world where few can be unicorns, but everybody can be a zebra, I highly recommend to look on this concept. So what I learned from my journey was that you don't always need to have everything planned out to create a business that makes a difference. When I started, I didn't know that I was going to focus on social entrepreneurship. It evolved naturally from recognizing a need and realizing that I could make a difference. And that's something I believe each one of us can do, whether through entrepreneurship or with your own work. There's always an opportunity to give back to the society. So yeah, thank you for letting me share my story. I hope it helps and for you to think about how you can make a positive impact through your own journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing this journey with all of us. I think it is just fabulous to hear how, talking about setbacks, talking about being inspired, and maybe also kind of like, yeah, being on this adventure of curiosity and making sure that, following this path, there were so many opportunities and possibilities for you to explore, which is just beautiful. So thank you very much for sharing this. We could either hear Manuela's story and combine, the Q&A, or if any one of you already wants to ask questions, you could also do that now. I wait a moment, and otherwise I would give the floor over to Manuela, and then we can just combine the Q&A after.
Wanted to add one more thing
Yes.
about because I was listening to Lenka and she spoke about networks. I think networks are the most valuable assets for anybody in entrepreneurship. You don't even know like how and where you will land and who will help. So always, I think networks, you just go with an open mind. When I just started, I did not know how I'm going to start. There was a time where I was holidaying in Rajasthan and Jaipur, and the owner owned something about furniture, and they used to like recycle these old army tents and make furniture about it, and they used to export it to USA. So you just don't know. You just have to keep on, you need to be your own brand ambassador, talk about your business, reach out to people because you never know how you find valuable connections.
Mhm. Yeah, super. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for highlighting this idea of networking and how valuable it is to actually becoming, and creating your own social impact. That is so important. And there is already a first question here popping up in the chat by Johanna. And Johanna is asking, what was your biggest learning? Or is there one specific thing you would do differently now? Let's start with the biggest learning from your side.
My biggest learning, I would say I just had a very open mind. Whatever came across, I just took it. It was I had to overcome as a woman entrepreneur in India, which was 15 years back. I had to overcome a lot of things and I had to fight for it, even though everybody was like, "Ah, are you really going to do it?" And I was like, "Yes, I will do it." And I had just decided that I'm going to do it, and I put my foot down. So, and whichever opportunities came up, it took me a lot of time to even secure my fundings. It took me approximately 9 months. And yeah, I just decided that this is what I have to do. So the commitment was the biggest thing, which I couldn't just let go.
Super, super. And is
And
there
what was
anything you would do differently now? Now having been through this journey so far, is there anything that you would, kind of like recommend your 15-year back Namrata in at the start of
yeah.
this journey?
I think it is much. It things have become better now. A lot of things have become better. There are much better ventures. There's much more support right now. And I think there's much more awareness. There are much more channels to help these communities. So during that time, I would believe that, it was a bit more challenging, but right now things have become better. So I say, moreover, like these concepts, and there's a lot of support, there's more conscious awareness about having the biz companies having more, social responsibility and an impact. So there is much more awareness. Earlier, it was not that much. So I feel like nowadays it kind of helps you and use this opportunities in your advantage.
Super, thank you. And Katarina is asking, what do you think is the most pressing issue in social entrepreneurship these days? Is there anything that you could share from your experience?
I think there are a lot of dying arts currently that that everybody is trying to kind of save. There are a lot of older communities because of digitalization, they are letting go of it. So maybe that have building that consciousness and making it aware would be something that I would like to work on. So yeah,
Super, thank you so much.
thank you.
I'm sure there will be more questions. Also when we kind of like hear from Manuela's story, and maybe there's, kind of like there are differences, there are maybe similarities to your journeys toward creating social impact. And I would like to say that I would like to introduce Manuela at this point, and then Manuela, you could take over and just, kind of like share your story on becoming a social entrepreneur yourself. Okay, so our last speaker for today, unfortunately, time's running. Joining us from the Faculty of Economics and the Technical University of Košice, I'm delighted to introduce Manuela Rajsova. Manuela has a talent for teaching and organizing projects, which has led her to co-found MAO, M-A-O, a platform that blends art and technology. I'm very curious about this. She collaborates across disciplines to bring creative technologies to life, especially in art and culture. And Manuela's passion for seeing the beauty of art infused with technology is something truly special, and we are very excited to learn from you today. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Konstantina. Thank you for an invitation. I got the presentation and I tried to share it if it is possible. Okay, can you see my presentation now?
Yes, we do see your presentation, but still in editing mode. If that's on purpose, that's fine.
No?
Perfect.
The purpose
good.
is like
Thanks.
this? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so as you said, I'm the teacher at Technical University of Košice, Faculty of Economics. I have no entrepreneur background, but 2 years ago, I wanted to start something new in my life. So I accepted the offer of my colleague from the Faculty of Arts, and we are trying now to manage our small company under the name MAO, Media Art of Office. We are as a platform for the development of creative industry. We started as a startup focused on social, educational, and artistic project. And as a media art office or a new media art, we are trying to connect or to find the connection between technology and art. My journey, my entrepreneurial journey is really short in comparison to Narata or Lenka, because I'm in business just 2 years, more or less. But my journey is connected to 3 projects of MAO. The first one project is Blue Planet, the second one Creative Playground, and the third one Senior Climate Action. The first one was our first project as MAO. It was the Blue Planet. It was the project for small children for kindergartens children and children from primary schools, because we wanted to show them the difference between the drawing in virtual reality and in environments they're really familiar with. So we prepared the project in a cooperation with the students of Faculty of Arts. And our aim was to make the children aware of the difference between these 2 realities. What was wonderful was the reaction of the children when from just laughing and not being able to stop, and actually not being able to say why they are laughing, to drawing without any problems and being excited about the beautiful pictures, colors, and shapes. And it was a really wonderful feeling when we said, okay, this is the way how to do that and why to do that. Now, this project is a little bit under reconstruction. We need to rebuild it because we want to be able to offer this to school as a part of education. And for this, it needs to be adapted to the curriculums of the schools. So, but it was our starting point for MAO and for people involved in MAO. Our latest project is about the Creativity Playground. Creativity Playground is a scientific and professional platform. Its aim is to create a space for playing with the topic. The idea is to create a space in which experts from different fields can comment on specific topic and look for the common overlaps to create something new. In the past, we have used this platform only for the art-oriented topics. This time, we use it for the first time for data visualization topic and try to move it toward multidisciplinary overlap and interconnection. There was we were speaking about the networking and the way how to create new connections. We are trying to build something like this because we would like this platform to serve as a space to connect students and young scientists with more experienced scientists, because usually more experienced scientists are focused on the established practices and approaches, and confronting them with each other can lead to the development of both sides. We are sure about that. So it is the Creative Playgrounds, and the last project is the Senior Climate Action. This is our year-long project to develop a course to increase the digital skills for senior artists. These relative to skills that they can use to improve their ability to be more visible and to introduce their art to the wider community of people, but also to still alive, to be still alive, and to be involved in the life of other people through their art. We prepared a new methodology, see, switch, and share, and if everything will be okay and we will be able to be still in a contact with the seniors. We hope that at the end there will be the international exhibition about their ability to see the environmental issues through their art. So this is the last our project, and these three groups of people are the main points of my business journey. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for sharing those really fascinating projects. And I think what we can all very appreciate from it is that it has such an interdisciplinary but also intercultural approach to it, right? Making
Yes.
sure that there are several people meeting and getting into exchange is so important. So I'm really glad to see that MAO is actually doing this and forcing this with, young people, more senior people, just to making sure that there is the connection in between the generations and in between the knowledge of people. So that is really good to see. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds really good. Cool. So maybe Manuela and Namrata, there was just, starting with Manuela when she started giving insights into Mao and her journey on social entrepreneurship, there was this email from Annalena saying, what advice do you have, especially for females, so for women who wants to become an entrepreneur? Is there anything both of you would give as advice to anyone who's interested in identifying as women?
Okay, Namrata.
Yeah, okay, I can go. I would say never give up. For me, I think now the current environment has changed a lot. There's a lot of support for women. There are a lot of coaches. There are a lot of projects which support entrepreneurship. It is easier. During that time, I cannot believe I even had to fight for my chartered accountant to let me open my own business because he was like, "Oh, you're going to get married and move away abroad. So why do you even want to do it?" And I was like, "No, I need to have my business registered now." And even though I think you will hear there will be a lot of background noise, but you have to be adamant. You have to have that attitude that I'm going to do this or not. That has been my biggest, that I was like, I'm going to do it. And there was a time where even my parents did not believe that what is she doing? Because generally, Dharavi is also not supposed to be like visited. Like my parents were very scared. I did not even tell them. I just went over there. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And I know I had faith in that person who had invited me. And I was like, I'm going to do this. And I just did it. And then when my parents came to the place where the furniture was displayed, my dad was really shocked and he said, "Wow, did you really do this?" I was like, "Yeah, I was not kidding." You know, so yeah, be adamant, never give up, and find the support. There is always a lot of support right now. Communities are very strong right now. So you should find the support and be with people who will encourage you and don't doubt yourself.
Super.
Okay,
Thank you. Manuela, do you have anything you would like to give as advice from your journey?
just try it, because it was also my beginning, and now it's a big experience, and it's interesting experience. I met a lot of new people, and I'm grateful for that. I'm changing with every experience, both good and bad. So I think just try it.
Super. Thank you both. Yeah. And Manuela, we haven't asked you, being now a social entrepreneur for 2 years, which is really exciting. What would you say until now? What is your biggest learning?
The biggest learning, maybe that it is not so easy as it looks like. If you see somebody who is as an entrepreneur for a long time, and the actions are so smooth without problem, he is able to do everything, and he has no problem maybe to speak to other people, or to find a new funds, just to be just to find the finance to be founded or something like that. But on the other hand, I thought that okay, sometimes it's good to wait and go step by step, not to hurry too much, and sometimes things will go by themselves.
Yeah, super, super valuable. Thank you very much for sharing this with us. Miriam was just asking a question. Can you share with us a time when you faced failure in your entrepreneurial journey and how that might have shaped your future decisions? Miriam is also saying many believe that failure provides valuable lessons and feedback, for future decision making, for future steps. Is there any moment that you could share with us?
I can go. It is not Entrepreneurship is not a very easy journey. You literally have to walk on stones, barefooted. You have to be ready. It will, there are times where you do not know what you need to do. like even Manuela's mentioned about the funds. I think for me personally, it was the biggest reason that how am I going to get the funding? Sometimes payments are blocked, and how will you do that? So that was, and you need to manage, but you need and actually when you do mistakes, they are the biggest lessons. But you need to be very creative. There is always a way out. And when you build your entrepreneurial journey and you work with communities, they support you. You kind of build that trust. I would always say there's always a way out, and take these mistakes as lessons learned, and they definitely shape your future journey. So, and also, I would say that your strategies, like, build your strategies where you can get somebody from outside as well, who can give you guidance. Because it's always good to consider everybody, the inputs that everybody gives you. But I would also say that trust yourself. You know best. It is your idea, your baby. So listen to everybody, but do what your heart says.
Super. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing. Manuela, is there anything you would like to share as, one of the big moments where you'd say, oh, that really taught me a lesson?
I still have more moments like this than moments like, okay, that's everything is okay and I can continue. So I agree with the words of Namrata. I don't know, I really too young. I'm like a toddler right
Yes.
now
Well,
in
thank
this
you.
business.
Yes, thank you so much. I think it is also so important that, once you hear these buzzwords, social entrepreneurship, social impact, you start HBR or something, Harvard Business Review, and you read articles about social impact and stuff like that. These have become so much buzzwords that I'm so lucky to have you here and hear about your experiences, because it humanizes the experience. It actually makes it approachable, if it's about the success or the failures, because both of it is part of the journey. And I think that is so valuable, having both of you here and sharing your journeys. So thank you so much for sharing all of these insights. There are a few more questions actually in the chat, and I think we still have some more time to go in both of them. So first of all, Stefani is asking, would you recommend to start a business based on your personal interests or focus on the best market potential? Oh, that's a tricky question, if I can say that. But please, the floor is yours. Do you have any thoughts on this? And Namrata, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. I would say always market interest. There is this. So I come from an entrepreneurial family. This we have been talking about business all the time. When somebody asked me at the age of 3, what do you want to become? I was like, I want to become a boss. I didn't know what it meant for me, but it was so much inbuilt. And when you are designing, it is always for what the market want, what the people want, because customer is always king. You can always, have you should always have your heart in what you do. But just because you like it, it does not mean that it would be something which is needed from everybody. You have to build a product which people need. Instead of having an add-on, it's a necessity. If you can, if because people do have necessities, and if you're able to fill that, your product will always be the hero. So, like any business, always take feedback from your customers, build it as per what they want rather than you doing what you think is best. So, always keep them in mind, get their feedback, and look into the market and try to fill the gap and try to be the king of where there are lesser people providing you with solutions. So that is
Super.
why definitely market research.
Yeah. Super, thank you so much. Although I do hear also some, personal passion for doing the thing, right? I mean, the main purpose is, of course, the market focus, but still you need to have like this inner motivation, this drive to kind of like inspire and aspire to kind of like become such a leader and become such a social entrepreneur.
Yeah, I think problem solving, like, and you do kind of support, like if you love the problem, then you need to solve it, that you need to definitely have that passion. But like I'm also like studying service design, where you always say that you should listen to your customer and build what they needed. And also keep it very diverse. You need to understand also that we live in a very diverse world, and it is not just for one person, you need to cater to a lot. So that's why I'm like, it's a little, it can go more deeper than this.
Yeah, super.
But
Thank you so much. Thanks. And Manuela, there's also a direct question for you in the chat by Dana. And Dana is asking, Manuela, since primary schools at Slovakia usually don't have standard funding for such interesting activities, who helps you fund your business? And for students, for example, for such ideas, where could students start to get the basic investment from? You know, just to get some advice out there to all of our students who are participating today.
Okay, that's true that there is no fundings for primary schools, and we usually trying to find the sources through other projects, through the preparation of new materials, for example, for this project, and then we use this project and we offer it as a part of free services for the school based on our good relations with these schools. And so we are trying to be financed through other funds, not strictly through the schools where we offer this service. But on the other hand, as I said, we are trying to make our project a stable part of the educational system. But we need to work on it and to rebuild some parts of this project. And the second question was
where can students find some, some opportunities for investment for starting their businesses?
I think that already Lenka mentioned that the part of the technical university is also the science park, Technicum, and the part of the activity of this science park is also a startup center where students can start their business journey. So I think it is a very good way how to start, but this is not only one startup center in Slovakia.
Yeah, super. Thank you for naming that. And, as we are so many people from so many different universities here, actually each of your university has such a startup center. So kindly find that startup center and, get in contact with them, start their courses, write that email and say, hey, I'm interested. Although you have no idea what to do, if you're interested, that is a really good starting point. So please find that startup center, that spin-off center at your university for further information for, the next step in creating such an impact journey for yourselves. Yeah. Okay, so just as a quick heads up, if there are any more questions for Manuela and Namrata, please share them. Otherwise, we are also really good in time, I'd say, for a conclusion of our first workshop here today. Yeah, I think that's the momentum for kind of like concluding this and really saying to both of you, thank you so much. Thank you for being so inspirational to all of us, for humanizing this experience, and for letting us in. I think that is really beautiful. And actually, if we start here, this is how we started today. Let me quickly share this with you. You should be seeing this here. If the opportunity does not build a door, and all of us, you gave us a door today to this journey of social impact and social entrepreneurship. So thank you so much to all of you for your experiences, for your insights, for your advice. That was all very valuable to us. Before we leave, just give me a sec to conclude here, and I'm going through this over here. The outlook and upcoming workshops. What is next? Today was our first workshop. This is a pilot. We were so excited. I think Dana and Katarina and Miriam, who are there from the working group, we were so excited to make and create this workshop. And this is the start of a really nice series, we believe. So hopefully you too. But first of all, let us look into a short capture of what we've been discussing today. Creating social impact is a journey. You start somewhere and you take your bike and you kind of like move it somewhere else. So it is really important to see that you are your own with the journey, but make sure that you're not biking alone. Always have someone, a network, because it's much easier to have someone to talk to when you're on a very long ride to somewhere and you don't know what that somewhere is. Second, today was your first step on this road trip toward more social impact. So, engaging with the network, hearing from others. We've heard that already a couple of times today in the past 2 hours. It is so important. So this was your first bike ride on this first road trip toward more social impact. And third, remember that your path might look differently to those of others. So there are very different experiences of how we cope with social impact, how we experience social entrepreneurship journeys. So make sure that although yours might differ from others, that you always engage with a network and collaborate with each other. That is so important, and cooperation is such a key word in becoming a social entrepreneur. As we are talking about upcoming workshops, our task group within Ulysses has created the Becoming Changemaker series. And today was the Becoming Changemaker series for Social Impact workshop. So we want to create and provide a dynamic workshop series where students can learn about social, women's, and intersectional entrepreneurship. These are such big themes and so important to learn about. And these are absolutely open to every student who's interested in learning about these things and learning how they can create their journey themselves. We want you to be exposed to diverse entrepreneurial strategies. We want you to challenge conventional business models, just in case you're sitting in another lecture by a professor who's not yet, there with unconventional business models. This is kind of like your invite to kind of like participate and make sure that you hear about the challenges of conventional business models. And of course, we want to emphasize ethical frameworks and inclusivity, because these are such important aspects when it comes to social, but also sustainable entrepreneurship. So we want you to equip with practical tools, insider knowledge, and of course, the motivation to start your own ventures, because all of these aspects could be an option for you to take part. You don't have to, become another employee at a company. You can actually be your own venture. And that is something that you, as you're finishing up your studies and you're engaging in your career path, is something that you should be seeing and acknowledging as a career path for yourself. So what we would like to announce with that, although it is quite tentative, but there will be a second workshop. We have 4 in total, and the next workshop will be in spring 2015, and probably in Nice in France in person. We are very excited about this, and if you are excited about this, let us know. If you're interested, get in touch, make sure that you are on the list. We'd be happy to provide you along the way with further information of what the program would look like. It is not yet fixed yet, so it is tentative, but we really want to kind of like tackle the idea of the intersections of social and women's entrepreneurship in Nice, and making sure that we spend 1 or at least 2 fabulous days together, and making sure that we learn from each other and with each other. That is our goal, so if you're interested, let us know. And then it is right, we are right on time. This is fabulous. So it is 6 p.m. on my side here in Münster, Germany. And we are, of course, asking you for feedback. If you have any feedback on this workshop, let us know. We know that it wasn't so interactive as it's supposed to be, but we had really high numbers of, registration. So we weren't really knowing what we could expect. But we are so happy for each and every one of you participating today, giving the space and time, and making sure that we all hear and learn from each other, which is so important. So I believe the feedback link is in the chat. So please give us some feedback, and I will also write another email with the feedback link, which is open for another 7 days. So kindly give us feedback so we can also accommodate your needs and your thoughts on the Becoming Changemaker series. Other than that, I'm just remaining with thank you to all of you. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you all so much. And if there's anything you would like to add or comment, kindly reach out as an answer to the first email that I sent a couple of days ago. Otherwise, look up your startup centers at your universities. Don't be afraid. This is all your empowerment to kind of like start your journey. And other than that, have a really nice afternoon. Take care, and we hope to see you then hopefully in Nice in spring 2025. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was
Thank
really
you.
nice.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye-bye.